If you're seeing this video, then I believe it is time for you to really step into the highest vibrational version of you. And I believe that at the end of this video, you'll be so convinced that it's time that you do that, and you'll have the exact tools and techniques that you can apply in your life to do so, that when you look back 6 months or a year from now, you'll see that this is the video that planted the seed for your transformation. So watch to the end of this video, because I believe it's no accident that you're here. It's time, and in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly what to do. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron, and I help people expand their consciousness. Now, on this video, I'm gonna be sharing with you the 7 most powerful ways I've gone about becoming the most high vibrational version of myself permanently, and how you can stay in what is called, quote, high vibration. And over the last 6 months especially, my life has transformed a lot. I have moved from Sedona to Austin, Texas. I moved into this house, which I purchased. I am now gonna be Airbnb in this house. I'm moving into a different house that's more in nature in Austin, Texas as well. And I'm moving into a new phase of my life of doing live events and really branching outside of the comfortable zone that has been me for the last 3 years that I've been making YouTube videos. And I'm using the same techniques that I used back in 2017 to go full-time on YouTube to become that higher vibrational version of me. I'm using the same techniques then to now recreate myself to be this higher vibrational version of me. That it's like an identity shift that changes my whole entire life. And I've seen thousands of people go through their own shifts in the way they view themselves, and there's certain patterns that I've recognized that change just about everything. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to kind of share a little bit about vibration in general. I know it's this esoteric woo-woo term, but think of vibration as a combination of how you think, feel, and act. So think, feel, and act is the ingredients that go into your vibration. Now, you'll notice that your vibration right meow is that of you thinking, feeling, and acting to the reality you are currently in. So think about it. If you are working a 9-to-5 job, you're probably thinking thoughts that are equal to that 9-to-5 job, even if you don't like it. I used to go to work every day and I would complain to other coworkers about how slow it was, because I worked in a sales job at Barney's New York in women's shoes, and it was hardly customers coming in, especially towards the last 2 years. So my thoughts were equal to that. I would feel resistant, or I wouldn't feel very passionate about it, and I was only taking action. I wasn't making YouTube videos. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm just a 9-to-5 job goer. My thoughts, my feelings, and my actions were equal to that version of me. Well, for me to bridge permanently into a new version of me, I had to have a new sense of who I am. So I then had to look at and be honest with myself. I am thinking, acting, and feeling equal to this reality, and this reality is not what I want, but it is comfortable and it is safe. So then what I did is I started to see and look at the vision. There's a quote that I saw in a movie recently. It's a Marvel movie that I saw with my friend and his kids called Cheng Li or something. And there's a quote in there that one of this archery master shares with this one character and says, "If you aim at nothing, you will get nothing." And it's very true. If there's no goal and you are just thinking, feeling, and acting equal to the reality you're in, and you don't have a vision or a new model for what you could be, then it's kind of like that stays very comfortable. So what I did is I became aware and I said, wait, I'm thinking, feeling, and acting equal to this 9-to-5 reality. What about me being a full-time YouTuber? And literally what I did, this is gonna sound esoteric and weird, but I connected to a version of me, maybe even a parallel reality version of me or my higher self. I don't even know to this day. But I got this clear message: make daily videos on YouTube. You know you wanna be a YouTuber, make daily videos. Treat YouTube like your full-time and it will become your full-time. That would require me to be a new version of myself, to let go of the old version of the 9-to-5 job goer who think thoughts equal to that 9-to-5 job, felt emotions equal to it, and took action equal to it, to start to take action, think, and to feel in a new way. And once I started and I made the bridge, what I did is I made the choice. This is who I am right now. And when I did that, guess what ended up happening? My life changed in a very powerful way. I committed to the daily videos. It wasn't always easy at first. Many of you know the story because it's so repetitive, because he talks about the same thing in every YouTube video, but guess what? That's what we got here. 2,000 videos. What you want me to do, okay? I've shared news stories sometimes too, I promise. But this is the key that I have realized is what you want to do. And the first thing to raising your vibration permanently is understanding your vibration. But secondly, or not secondly, it's still the first one. It's expanding your sense of identity. It's expanding your sense of self. Who are you? If you have something that you're afraid to do, then a lot of times by doing that thing, you begin to rewire yourself. Recently, I had a vulnerable conversation with a friend of mine. And I was afraid to have this conversation for a long time. It actually made our relationship suffer since like 9 months because we were afraid to have this conversation. I had this conversation and I was brutally honest. I wasn't sugarcoating shit. I expressed how I felt. And it was one of the most empowering experiences of my life. It made me feel and realize that I can just be me. I don't have to be a people pleaser. I can authentically share who I am. And you want to know something funny? The person I express this to, I can tell they respect me more because I'm not just a yes man. Someone I really look up to, and even now, great friend, someone's very successful. But I'm realizing, and what I realized is that I was being inauthentic and fake in order to not go into tension or express how I really feel. After I had this and I went into this unknown territory, I've re-identified who I am. I'm no longer the guy that just says things and is nice to get people's validation. I'm like authentic, vulnerable, and I go into the tension. And it's a different mentality, but I feel so empowered. The other thing is I have a friend that was here in Austin doing a 4-day live event, and he invited me to it, and he invited me to speak too. And when he did, I remember feeling a little bit of anxiety, like, ooh, this is the next level of my business and everything, over 100 people live. Ooh, but there's an excitement there. And that excitement and that stepping into the new really moved energy. So it was a sign to me that that's what I want to be doing and that's what I'm going to be doing. And then I went to this event, and the cool thing is synchronistically going to this event, I was able to see that it's way more simpler than I thought. I think the thing that held me back was like I didn't know exactly who do I hire, how do I do this, how do I do that, how many hundreds of people, what if this happens, what if that happens. But I realized, you have most of the answers, and the whole time I was at his event, all I wanted to do was get on stage. I was like, man, I just felt like I need to be up there. I was like, I'm about to explode or something. Because I knew that's what I wanted to do. And that is what you want to do to change your vibration permanently, is jump into the unknown. And the known is how you think, felt, and act for so long, and it's comfortable. And the unknown, it's just new, it's just uncomfortable. But then you redefine yourself. When I started making daily videos, all of a sudden I realized, OMG, I am this new version of myself. This is kind of I care what people think. And as you jump into and you start to expand your sense of self, you start to do new things, there's blocks that are going to come up. It's never going to be like you step into the unknown and you're like, okay, before I step into the unknown, I'm going to remove all these blocks and then I'm just going to be ready. Like if I just edit my videos, if I just have full editing capabilities, and then I understand everything I'm ever going to talk about in YouTube videos, and then also I just really learn how not to care what people think, then I'll be ready to make YouTube videos. And guess what? I waited for like 4 years because I was waiting for that. And then eventually I said, screw it. And I made the choice to be that version of me. You remove the blocks as you go through them, not as you wade around thinking better thoughts. That's what I did. I was thinking better thoughts. Remember, thinking, feeling, and acting. Thinking, feeling, and acting, not just thinking. Many people say, I'm thinking better thoughts. I'm thinking better thoughts, Aaron, but it's not happening. Well, action is one of the languages of our physical reality. Many of you may be spiritual starseed snowflakes, like we all are, but at a certain level to where in the higher dimensions, you think it, it's there. It's like Ariana Grande's, I want it, I got it. You're like, I think it, I got it. I think it, I got it. But now, in physical reality, we have to take action. And you're over there like, I just think a better thought. In the 5th dimension, this is what I do. I think a better thought and it comes. It's not coming. It's like, bro, you incarnated into a 3D reality system where you might have to take a little bit of action. But here's the thing. You're not taking the action because it's going to get you the girlfriend or the boyfriend. You're not taking the action because it's going to get you the quadrillion dollars. You're taking action because it's who you are. It's what you enjoy. I'm making this video right now. I'm actually kind of enjoying it. I enjoy it because it's my passion. It's what I love doing. So that's the first one. It's probably one of the most powerful too. You make the identity shift when you become aware of your old vibe, and then you start being the new vibe, and you decide who you are, and it changes everything. The second thing is something I had to learn, and guess what? It sucked learning it because of the people pleaser thing I was telling you earlier. One of the ways that you're going to raise your vibration permanently, because a permanent shift in vibration, it's you've now chosen who you are. You are now different than you used to be. Now, the version of you, like if I imagine the version of me, like even now, I have somebody that reached out to me on Instagram that's like somebody I used to know back in Vegas, and he's like, hey bro, I need to pick your brain. I need you to teach me like how to do what you've done on YouTube and blah, 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 blah. And he wants me to like, I don't probably jump on a call with him or something. Now, this is gonna sound cocky, but the busier I've gotten, the more successful I've gotten, the more time has become like a really good commodity to where I can't jump. Like, am I gonna jump on the call with somebody that I knew in Vegas, or am I gonna jump on the call with my mom who just texted me and said, hey honey, call me? Who am I gonna call? Ghostbusters. No, I'm gonna call that of my madre. So it's like, as I become more successful even, and as I've gotten more on my vision, I've had to say no to more things. Now part of me would be like, oh, I'm gonna say no, and he's gonna think I'm cocky or I'm an asshole or something, and I don't care what people think. And then I realized, no, I'm also not good. Like, it's the awareness. Like if I have a friend that is just at a level to where I know they are crazy busy, out of the awareness of my own like stuff going on, I just know, and I don't take it personally if he's like, I'm too busy. You know what I mean? But there's this fear there. But as the more successful I become, and for you to even become successful and to become the highest vibrational version of you, you're going to have to learn to say meow. No. You're going to have to learn how to say no. And no is saying yes to something else. By me saying no to this guy that I used to know in Vegas, who's still a cool guy and everything, but I'm also saying yes to my mom's phone call because I can call my mom. I'm also saying yes to making a video that could influence thousands of people. It's me being aware of my own energy, and once you start raising your vibration, you're going to become a little bit more protective of your energy, or a lot. Not in the way like, I have to protect my energy because there's a fifth dimensional arc, all this crazy stuff. No, you're going to become more aware of your energy because it becomes more valuable because you're putting it towards things that actually are high vibrational. What is high vibrational? Your passion, what you love doing. You are following your excitement. So this is something I had to do when I started making YouTube videos too, because I had friends that wanted to hang out and I had to say no. Now that I have a vision, if I hang out with you, I'm not going to get a video out tomorrow on YouTube because I've committed to daily videos on YouTube. And that's really what changed my life, was when I committed to daily videos on YouTube. I was being a new version of me. So the reason I'm sharing this with you is because even now, like I was at my buddy's event the other day, didn't realize there were going to be a lot of subscribers there, or at least 15, 20 subscribers that were coming up to me after the event. They're like, hey Aaron, I love your videos, blah, blah, blah. And then there was one person that came up that was like, hey Aaron, he was really cool. I'm not trying to make fun of him. So if you're watching this, I'm not making fun of you. But somebody comes up, it's always interesting because people sometimes I think are in their own bubbles and they're not thinking about the person that they're talking to and like maybe their life and like what they have going on. He's like, hey Aaron, I'd love to take you out. I'd love for you to come to my city. I would love to take you on a lunch and tell you all about my life and all of this stuff. Let's hang out. Let me get your phone number. And I'm like thinking to myself, like the challenge for me is as I become more successful, I have more boundaries. My challenge is talking to my family and my current friends and staying on top of what I'm doing. So to bring somebody else and and then commit or have somebody else on my phone that's texting me, it is something that I have to have boundaries with. And as well, it's also the realization that I need to, like, it was an interesting thing because I was in a group of like 5 people and they were all people that recognized me for my video. So what, I give my phone, just gonna pass it around and let everyone put in their information or something like that? You know what I mean? I had to be honest, what is the most authentic thing for me to do? To say no. Sorry, I don't do that. I'm gonna be doing a live event soon. You can come to the live event. I would love to connect that way, but I don't have time to do that. I've got other things going on. So the thing that I'm having to learn is saying no can be hard. But what I realized is I have to be not afraid to do that in a nice way, of course. But by saying no to that, I'm saying yes to like what I can actually focus on and stuff. So it's a different way of looking at things. But realize, I know for many of you, it might be hard to say no to friends that want to hang out, even if you have a story that you've been with these friends for like such a long time and just the way things work. But realize the more you say no, you're saying yes to something else. So that's the shtick about that. So say no, and you'll be saying yes to other things. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is when we talk about the old vibration of how you think, feel, and act, and the new vibration of this new version of you, it's not so much about just wiring in this new version of you. It's mainly about letting go of the payoffs of this old version of you. Now, what are payoffs? Anything we do because of the payoff that we get from it. So if I'm working that 9-to-5 job, thinking, feeling, and acting equal to it, it may be reaffirming the payoff I get is maybe a sense of being right. The right could be like, yes, I'm working this job I hate. I could be doing something else, but I'm not. It also probably feels safe. So the payoff I get is it feels safe. And if it feels safe, then it's like, I don't have to step out of my comfort zone. And some people are even addicted to like being angry. They're like angry with where they are, but it's like, why don't you change it? I have this friend that used to always come to my house, not always, but every now and then I would hang out with him, a real good friend of mine I used to grow up with, and he would always be bitching about his job, working at the hotels and all this corporate BS, and this person did this to them and this person did this to them. And after like 30 minutes of bitching, I'm like, dude, why are you working there? Well, it's the only way I know to make money or whatever. I'm like, dude, you hate it. It's like draining your energy. Quit and find something else. Find something you're passionate about. You used to be passionate about the shirt line. Why don't you go do that or this or that? And I empowered him and he left, felt so excited, but then it kind of wore off. Because maybe there's an addiction there to the old comfortable feeling, the old comfortability. I think some people are addicted to certain substances because of the comfort it brings them. Not everybody, but I used to smoke a lot of cannabis. Not everybody that smokes cannabis does it for this reason, but I was numbing a lot of my own pain. And I think I knew that when I smoked it, I would just feel very calm and relaxed. And it was certainty that I got from that, very comfortable. But guess what? I think the reason, it's normally associated, there's some people that can smoke and do all this business stuff, but for me, when I stopped, I got all this energy back and I became like this new version of me, so I stopped being just in that comfortable zone. So letting go, how do you let go? You become aware of the reasons you have. You become aware of the payoffs. And then you simply say, I'm going to let those go. It's that simple. It's like, no, don't I have to like write a letter and burn it and then like put it somewhere and then like meditate on it and then like do some Kundalini thing where I squeeze my taint? No, you don't have to do any of that. You don't have to do any of that, bro. Just become aware. Awareness is 90% of transformation, and then let go. And as you let go, you're going to be taking your power back and it's going to feel amazing. Now the fourth thing is very, very important. It's probably one of the biggest transformations you'll make from the old vibrational you to the new vibrational you. And I had to do this, and this is going to sound kind of cringy to hear for some of you, but as I know anytime I post it on Instagram, it gets a little bit of it's polarizing, but there's two different kinds of consciousness. There's one where there's a victim consciousness where things happen to me, and there's another one where things are happening for me or I can like find a way through this. Now, victim consciousness is something that many of us can be addicted to, and I was for years. Not even even just recently, I realized that I many times will do whatever I can to remain a victim in certain situations. I told this story on a podcast recently, but I had this guy that that was working on my house, a contractor, and I had this thing where I overpaid him, I paid him up front, and then he freaking disappeared, gave him like $17K, disappears. Need him to get stuff done. He's supposed to get it done within a month. 3 months later, still doesn't have it done. I'm like, dude, I need that money back because I'm selling my house now in Sedona. And then he didn't want to he like spent the money, didn't have it to give back. And he's like, let me just do the work now. I'm like, no, you had your chance. And it became this long headache. And I realized that I have these things happen sometimes in certain situations, and I like get so alive from getting angry, and I'm right about being a victim, but like, why am I fighting to be a victim? I had to take responsibility and realize I allowed that to happen. I paid the dude $17K before the work was done, and he disappeared to go work on someone else's house or many people's houses. It was my fault. I had to take ownership. Once I realized it was my fault, it was so much easier for me. Not in a shame, like I'm so bad, I'm such a naughty boy, but it was more so like I was then aware I can choose not to do that next time, and I learned from it. And eventually I got some of that money back that he owed me, but of course it did become a headache. But I'm no longer fighting to be the victim. And I was a victim from 7 to 15 years old with the whole ex-stepmom thing. And then after my ex-stepmom left when I was 15 and my dad divorced her, I kept finding women in my life, either a girlfriend or a manager that would control me the way my ex-stepmom did, because I was addicted to the comfortability of being a victim. But victim consciousness means that you take responsibility. The funny thing is recently I was on a plane and I saw this guy on the plane. I was going from Phoenix to San Diego, which is a guy named Jocko Willink or something like that. I recognized him because I've seen him on interviews and stuff. And he's like this kind of like this hardcore like Marine guy or something like that. And he talks about leadership. And he has a book on leadership. So it was funny, I was on the plane, I never really indulged in his content because he always seemed kind of like intense, but on the plane I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna freaking get this book. So I got this book, and it's this leadership book called like Extreme Ownership. And one of the main parts of it is as a leader, you take complete ownership for that of whatever you are doing or whatever that responsibility is. And as you take that responsibility, what you find is that then you're no longer the victim because it's always your fault. Not your fault in a shameful way, but it's your fault in the way that you chose it. If you treat every situation as if you chose it, you will have more power. And that's one of the main things around this concept that's changed my life, is I'm no longer the victim. Even those business transactions or whatever it is, you have to switch from victim consciousness into like things happen for me. They're just beliefs too. Now, that's the fourth thing. Now, the fifth thing is the next two things are beliefs. They're stories that hold us in low vibration. Now, one of them is a belief in abandonment. Abandonment. Now, one of the things with people pleasing, and one of the reasons we become people pleasers, is because we are afraid of being abandoned. We believe that we need to change the self in order to be abandoned. And when it comes to our vibration and becoming the highest vibrational version of us, almost every human on the planet has one of three limiting beliefs. They are that of the fear of abandonment, the belief I'm not worthy, and the belief that I can't trust. I need to control, I can't trust. Now this one is the belief of abandonment. Now normally what happened is when we were kids, one of our parents or both of our parents abandoned us in some way. Maybe it was emotionally, maybe it was physically. My brother, my half-brother, on my mom's side, so we had the same mom, his dad is a complete douche and abandoned him when he was young, and it's like he has to fight to have a relationship with him. That was a physical abandonment. Whereas there are times that many people have been through emotional abandonment where someone wasn't there for you, and then you start to have these things where you believe that you're not good enough, so you're trying to change yourself, or you entertain people that then later on in life in relationships aren't emotionally there for you because you're used to somebody that you have to change and wiggle around for to get them to love you or to get them to like you. So the fear of abandonment normally starts at a young age, and unless we overcome the fear of abandonment, we'll remain in a lower vibrational space. Fear of abandonment was probably why the old version of me, working the 9-to-5 job, didn't take action, because I was afraid with that of stepping into the unknown, caring what other people thought. If people were to judge me negatively, I could get abandoned. I'd be abandoned by other people, and I would feel validated if they would just like me, but there's no guarantee there. You see the difference? So abandonment. Now here's the mind fuck of abandonment. Now what we do to get other people to like us and to be different so that other people, and to be yes man or whatever it is, yes woman, is we change ourselves for others, not realizing that we have abandoned ourselves to make other people happy. The original abandonment is you have abandoned yourself. And until you become aware of that belief, you will remain abandoning yourself to make others happy. So it's drawing energy from within. This is something that we work, by the way, in the 21-day Magnetic Love Challenge. It's one of the most powerful things I've ever done. 21 days in a row. I ended up going live for an hour a day. We worked on the fear of abandonment, worthiness, removing love blocks, attachment styles. It was completely transformative. If you went through the 21-day Magnetic Love Challenge, can you comment, like this video, comment below, and say that you were in it or something like that, and what you thought of it, so that other people see what's potential with it. And if you haven't joined it yet, you can join by hitting the button right below. So that's something that we did. But the fear of abandonment is to stop abandoning the self. And that is a different vibrational version of you. Now the next one is that of the fear or belief that I'm not enough. I'm not worthy. For a long time, I think I held myself back from making videos because I felt like I wasn't worthy. Who am I to be making YouTube videos? Who's going to listen to me? I don't have a coaching degree, a master's degree. I don't have this. I don't have that. I don't have even a bachelor's degree. I have none of this. I didn't feel worthy. And what I'm realizing now is it was just a belief that I looked at, and then I started to realize that I'm worthy for just being me. And you are worthy for being you. Something Bashar says a lot, someone I listen to. He talks about, can we agree that creation does not make mistakes? Can we agree that there's a bigger flow to this reality, and that if you're here for a purpose? Can we agree that the grass is here, the trees are here, the animals are here, everything is here for a purpose? And that means that if everything's here for a purpose, and if creation doesn't make mistakes, then you are here for a purpose. You have a purpose for being here, and the world would not be the same without you. There's some reason that you are here, and the world and the creation did not make a mistake by putting you here, by facilitating you being here. So if that's the case, then realize you are worthy simply because you exist. And a lot of times what happens is if we can agree to that, then what happens is we then see that if we're saying, well, okay, I agree that everything in reality has a purpose. Everything wasn't a mistake, but I am the one mistake. I am not worthy. Everything else is worthy but me. Am I significant? I am special. I am right that I am the victim. You see what I mean? It's significance. And it's letting go of that belief and realize you are worthy for just being you. Once I went to this live event that my friend did, I started getting all these ideas and started feeling inspired. I'm like, I'm worthy to do this already. I already have the capability to do this. I just need to stop waiting. Stop telling myself the story that I'm not worthy. As I was having a vulnerable conversation with a friend the other day, I'm like, wait, I'm worthy for just being me. I don't need to give it. I don't need to do anything. I'm just going to be me and be the authentic me. And I'm not afraid of that abandonment because I'm not going to abandon myself any longer. So that's the sixth thing. Now, the last thing about this is realizing the whole part of identity. How do you, one sec, I'm almost done, I promise. I have friends here right now, so I got to finish this video really quick. So identity, it's realizing how you think, how you feel, how you act is in alignment with a certain version of you. So what you want to do is you want to change the way you view yourself and realizing you are high vibrational already. That is already who you are. You don't have, it's mainly about letting go of what's not you, but realize you're already high vibrational. So because it's a part of your identity, it makes it easier for you to realize this is who you are. So if you guys like this video, could you do me a favor, like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. I have a lot more videos like this coming out. Check out the 21-day magnetic love challenge if you haven't already. I got friends here. I gotta go. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace, much love, and namaste.